Okay, so getting a job at McKinsey has always been a huge challenge, right? Well, they've just gone and flipped the whole script. If you're even thinking about a career in consultant, what we're about to unpack could literally be the difference between landing that dream offer and not even getting an interview. The game has changed, and this is your new rulebook. It all boils down to this one date, March 29th. Seriously, if you're a student, you need to burn this into your memory. This is one of McKinsey's new and kind of shocking early application deadlines. And trust me, it's a sign of a much, much bigger change happening. So let's be clear, this isn't just them, shifting a few dates around on a calendar. This is a fundamental seismic shift in their whole strategy. To really get how dramatic this is, let's put the old way right next to the new way. I mean, just look at this. The old timeline on the left, that was the classic, kind of leisurely pace, right? Summer applications, fall interviews. Well, you can just throw all of that out the window. Everything has been yanked forward into the spring. We're talking deadlines hitting as early as your sophomore year. McKinsey is now playing on the same aggressive field as investment banking, trying to lock in the best talent, like yesterday. And you know who gets hit the hardest by this? It's the students in those one-year master's programs. Just try to imagine this for a second. You might have to put together and submit your entire application, your whole story, before you've even stepped foot in your first class. It's a huge hurdle. But here's the twist, and you really need to hear this. McKinsey set this super early deadline, but honestly, it's kind of a trap. Because if you only focus on hitting that date, you're playing right into their hands. The real test isn't about how fast you can apply. It's about the quality of what you submit. And this really gets to the heart of it. What does that quote really mean? It means speed without substance is a dead end. Rushing to get your application in is probably the biggest mistake you can make. This isn't a test you can cram for the night before. That deep self-reflection they're looking for, it takes time. Okay, so if just being fast is a trap for the unprepared, what's the real challenge here? What does that deep preparation actually look like? Well, it all comes down to absolutely nailing one very specific, often misunderstood part of their interview process. And it's called the Personal Experience Interview, or PEI. Now, this is not your typical tell me about a time when behavioral interview. No. Think of it as a 15-minute surgical deep dive into a single experience from your past. It's designed to see how you actually think, how you lead, and how you behave when the pressure's on. So, let's pop the hood on this PEI thing. What are the interviewers really looking for when you're telling your story? Because I promise you, it's not just about whether it's a good story. They're trained to look for very specific qualities that scream future top-tier consultant. Everything, and I mean everything, in the PEI is built around these 4 core dimensions you see right here: connection, growth, drive, and leadership. You should think of these as the 4 pillars of a McKinsey consultant. Every single question they ask is trying to figure out how strong you are in these areas. And look, these aren't just corporate buzzwords. They map directly to the job. They want to know, can you persuade a skeptical client? Can you adapt when a project goes sideways? Do you take ownership or do you point fingers? Can you lead a team of diverse people? Your stories are the evidence. And here's a key tip. This isn't just for the interview. When you have these stories ready to go, every networking call and every coffee chat becomes infinitely more powerful. Now, this slide is huge because it shows the #1 difference between an okay answer and a great one. It comes down to one word. Weak answers always talk about we. We did this. Our team accomplished that. Great answers, they're all about I. They don't want a team player story here. They want to know what you specifically did, the choices you made, and what you learned. It is all about radical ownership. Okay, so how do you make sure your story lands squarely in that great category? You don't just wing it and hope for the best. You use a blueprint, a structure that's designed to turn your experience into a compelling piece of evidence. And this is that blueprint. It's a simple 5-step framework that just works. You start with the context, set the scene. Then the problem. What was the big challenge? Then comes the action. This is the most important part. What did you personally do? After that, the outcome. What happened? And finally, the learnings. What did you take away from it all? Now, to make that blueprint even more powerful, let's load it up with some pro tips. #1, we've said it before, but I'll say it again. Use I, not we. They're hiring you. Pick stories that were actually hard, where things went wrong, and try to build a portfolio. Have at least 2 strong examples for each of those 4 dimensions we talked about. You want to be ready for anything they throw at you. Because when you get this right, when that deep reflection meets this rock-solid structure, Well, this is what happens. The results speak for themselves. This isn't just about passing an interview. It's about landing a career-defining offer. All right, we've covered a ton. We know the timeline is crazy, and we know the PEI is the main event. So let's get super practical. Let's turn all this theory into an action plan that you can start on today, no matter where you are in your journey. Okay, let's break it down. If you're a freshman, your job is to go out and collect the raw materials. Get involved, take on leadership roles, and build that portfolio of experiences that will become your future PEI stories. If you're a sophomore, it's go time. The clock is ticking, and that deep reflection and story crafting needs to start now. And for you one-year master's students, the honest truth is, you should have started yesterday. The time for everyone to act is right now. So look, at the end of the day, this whole accelerated timeline, it's not just a logistical problem. It's a challenge. It's McKinsey asking you to know your own professional story with more clarity and way sooner than you ever thought you had to. They've set their deadline. The only question left is, what will your story be?